Great. All right, everybody, let me know if you can see my hands and if you can hear me. Good morning, Cheryl, Louise, Sarah, Amy, Tara, everybody. Kathy, Louise, yeah, let me know if you can hear me because I've refreshed and I can see my hands. So now the last hurdle is just making sure you can hear me. Perfect. Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you so much. Now I can breathe. Here we are. It is Saturday morning. Happy Scrappy Saturday. I know I usually begin on my face. I can like lean under here so you can see me, but I just didn't want to risk messing it up. I feel like I've messed up too many times that I just want to be sure to get this one right. So starting the camera this way, and then at the very end, I can flip the camera and so you can see me. So perfect. This is the Globe mini album that we are creating today, and I am so excited about this one. The original idea for a globe I saw on Instagram by a lady named, well, her handle is Lady Crafts, I believe. And then I think her stand was like made out of MDF or something, and it was a box. It was very different. But I loved the idea so much, asked her permission to create a globe stand. And so I designed this stand in Adobe Illustrator, and then I cut it out of chipboard first just to see if it would work. And when it did, I was like, okay, well, now we've got to figure out a way to make it more sturdy. So I reached out to Jessica from Color Cast Designs. She only lives an hour away, and she was able to cut out these stands for me. And usually with my classes, I try not to make them too product focused, meaning you can use your own supplies. But for this class, the globe stand is essential. If you don't have the stand, it's not going to be a globe. So I am just glad that everything worked out, this collaboration, and it's just really fun and interactive. And I hope that once you make one today, you'll want to make more because Jessica is continuing to keep these stands in her shop. So good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. All right, moving right along. Let's get started, dive right in. We want to make sure we can get our album created. So here is the PDF that should have been emailed to you, or if you purchased from my site, it was available for download. As I've gone through it, I've found just a couple little typos here and there, but nothing too huge, which is good. The link right here on this first page will always be the link for this class. So right after it ends, you'll be able to refresh and then replay and watch it as many times as you want. Okay, so here's the link to this class. This will always be this link to this class. Let's see. Perfect. Sorry, this is a different link than I initially sent in the beginning when I was going through StreamYard. So I just want to make sure that if I'm getting emails and notifications that it's people who are still able to attend. Anyway, here's a link to my Facebook group, my Page Pals Facebook group. It's just for my virtual classes, so be sure to share your finished projects there. Our photos, we need 4 5.5-inch round and 16 2x3-inch travel themed. So I've already got my photos printed and stitched, so I'll bring those in a minute, and then I've got all my 2x3-inch photos. I printed these at home using Adobe Photoshop and Picasa. Well, I didn't create the collages, but in Photoshop, you can drag and drop and then print whatever size you want. And then I've heard lots of great things about the Project Life app, Pick, Tap, Go. So a lot of different options for getting different sizes. And then here was some homework down there. We'll get to that in a minute. As far as the additional supplies, these are the exact supplies that I am using. These 7 double-sided pattern papers. You need the circle template, the acrylic stand, and well, the stand comes with the charm. Okay, so anytime you order a stand, it's going to come with this exclusive Go See Do charm as well. And then embellishments like stickers, chipboard stickers, floral die cuts, puffy stickers, cardstock stickers. If you want to do the hand stitching, here are the lengths and the threads that I used, but these are all coordinating with the colors of the papers. So again, it's totally up to you the supplies you want to use. This is what I am using, and I'm very excited to see how you adapt it. We also need a skein of white thread. Here is the type of needle I use, and then your scrapbooking essentials like adhesives and paper trimmers, and then supplies for hand stitching. So if you want to do the hand stitching part, you'll need your paper piercer, foam mat, and we need a ruler to measure the string. Alrighty, let's get right to it. So here is the template, and we need to cut it out and pierce the holes. So there are a few different options for getting this 5.5-inch circle shape. Here's option 1, where you print the template out and then cut it out and use it as a template to trace and cut out and punch the holes by hand. And there are definitely pros and cons to doing things by hand, right? The pro is you're making this completely with your own 2 hands, which is just so satisfying. The con is it takes a little bit longer. If you have a silhouette cameo or you have a Cricut, right, I'm trying to cut this and talk at the same time, which is my biggest challenge in life. If you have a Cricut or a Cameo or a Scan and Cut or other type of electronic cutting machine, I did provide the cut file so that your machine can do all of this work for you. If you have the machine cut it out for you, let me bring it in because I did have it cut one out. Here's what it looks like if you have the Cameo cut it out, and it did pierce the holes. They're very hard to see, but they are there. They kind of look like these white dots all around the edges. But that took the machine, a minute to cut out. But what we want to do now is use your circular template and grab a piece of pattern paper or your photo. So here's a photo that I printed at home, and it needed to be at least 5.5 inches across. I think it's even a little bit bigger just because I printed at home. Uh-oh, I've lost my ruler. It's over on my other desk. Let me grab it. Here's my ruler. So I just printed my photo to 8.5 by just a little bit bigger than 5.5. It's 5 3/4. People have been sharing their tips for how to get these size photos in my Page Pals Facebook group, so be sure to check there if printing at home isn't an option for you. So whether you're tracing and cutting out a photo or let's trace and cut out pattern paper, this is the side that I want showing. So whenever I'm doing that, I flip it over to the back side to save myself a step of erasing the pencil lines, because more time saved equals more time for scrapbooking. It's okay if you get pencil marks on your template. It's just the template. It won't be in your final mini album. Okay, didn't trace all the way on that right edge. I'm lining it up again. And just make sure I trace all the way around this time. Great. Okay, so this will be one of the pages in my mini album. But we also need to see how to get the holes pierced through here if we don't have an electronic cutting machine. So I will demonstrate that as soon as I finish cutting out the circle. But you'll repeat this for all 4 photos, right? Let me see. Yep, all 4 photos and all 8 pages. The fun thing about this mini album is you can have even more pages. Since they're going to be stuck back to back, there's really no limit to the amount of pages. Granted, I'm sure it will reach a point where you just can't even open up the pages anymore, but for sure you can fit even more pages in this album. You can see how big the gaps are in between the pages. So if you have more pages, there's definitely room. Definitely room for more photos. I love making mini albums about our travels because then I can use more photos than a regular scrapbook layout. Okay, to get the holes for piercing, if you choose to add that step, grab your foam mat, paper piercer, and the template. Now it helps to have washi tape to keep it in place, which I don't have right in front of me, but I've got some close by, which I've grabbed. So these are just washi tapes from Rifle Paper Company. I love Rifle Paper Company. Everything they put out with all the florals, it's just so beautiful. Okay, so I'm tacking it down with a little washi tape, and then I will pierce these holes. So wherever there is a dot on the template, use a paper piercer, or if you don't have an official paper piercer, you could use a thumbtack or even a needle. You could use the exact same needle that you are using to do the hand stitching to pierce these holes. So this is all done by hand. Again, I provided the cut file, so if you have a Cricut or a Cameo or a Brothers Scan and Cut, you can use the SVG file with that machine, and it will cut all of these holes out for you. Or doesn't, I mean, I wouldn't call it a hole necessarily, it's more like a dot. But as long as you can see where you're supposed to stitch, that's what matters. So the hole doesn't need to be too big for piercing. In fact, I prefer the tiny holes, so then you don't see excess space around the hole, if that makes sense. Yes, you can use the silhouette to cut the photos. And I see another question. My apologies for not looking up. The throughout the PDF, it is linked. So this 5.5-inch circle template will take you to a Dropbox folder with the cut files and the template. On the first page as well, the circle template with and without stitching holes, it takes you to a Dropbox folder where you can either print it out or download the Studio 3 or SVG files. In Silhouette, when you open up this circle, you can drag and drop your photos into the circle and print it out, and it prints out with registration marks. So then when you put the photo on the sticky mat and run it through the machine cuts it all out. I believe I have a tutorial on my YouTube channel showing how to print and cut photos in Silhouette, but it has been a few years. So you'd have to scroll back through my YouTube channel. I can also drop the link in my Page Pals Facebook group. Good morning, everybody. Okay, so for these pages, I did a whip stitch. So this one's kind of fun. I actually did this, I believe, on my very first virtual mini album class. It was a heart shape. But you know me, I love hand stitching. I'm just clearing off my table, gathering what I need to for this next part. Okay, so for every page, and every circle is exactly 5.5 inches across. You will need to do the whip stitch. I've only measured for the whip stitch. A chain stitch probably will take more thread, definitely, actually, for sure, and a back stitch would also take more than 32 inches. So I've used 32 inches of coordinating thread. I love the texture tone-on-tone look, and I didn't bring myself a needle. Let me go get a needle. 1 second. Got it. I've got a whole little cup of needles, so here I come. Okay. Any more questions? Appreciate, yeah. Cut file. Again, it's linked throughout the PDF. Okay. Thread the needle. Tie a knot at the end. And starting from the back, bring your needle up through any hole. It doesn't really matter. Let me bring it closer to the camera so you can see. Okay. So I'm passing my needle up through one of the holes. Yes, Marilyn, the chain stitch would absolutely look lovely as well. The only reason I did the whip stitch was so you could see it from the edges. I just really love the tactile look of having the whip stitch literally popping out from the edges. But a chain link stitch would look beautiful as well when you're flipping through the pages. You could really see it. Great question. Okay, so to do the whip stitch, I brought my needle. I'm basically wrapping my thread back over, and I hold it in place with my fingers on the back. So I'm grabbing my paper and then holding the thread that I just wrapped. Bring your needle up through the next hole and pull the thread through. Don't pull it too tight or you'll tear it. Okay, so same thing, wrap your thread over the paper. I grab it with my middle finger that's holding the thread in place. Bring your needle up through the next hole. Same exact thing, very easy. Nothing more to it. Just wrap your thread around the edge and bring your needle up through the next hole. Wrap it, hold it in place, up through the next hole. So each page took me about 10 minutes. Actually, when I was prepping my pages, I set the timer and it took me about 8 minutes if I didn't stop and if I was completely focused. But goodness knows I usually stitch with Netflix on in the background, and that definitely can be a distraction. So anywhere between 8 and 10 minutes for me. And you know, I've been stitching for a long, long time. So here is the whip stitch. So took me about 10 minutes, but for the sake of saving time, let's say I've continued my whip stitch all the way around. And then when we get to the end, let me bring in, this is actually a photo, so it's the exact same thing. For my photos, instead of using same colored thread, I used white thread. So for all 4 of my photos, same exact process where you cut out the 5.5-inch round photo, pierce all the holes, or, sorry, the garbage man's driving by, a little loud, or pierce the holes by hand or have the machine do it, do the whip stitch. Now I've got a few more to do here, so it's the exact same. I'm wrapping my thread around the edge, going up through the next hole, wrapping my thread around the edge, and going through the next hole. Now, on the back side, I'm just tying a knot. I'm trying not to make my knot too thick because then it'll get a little bubbly in between the pages, but I'm just tying a knot. And then trimming off the excess threads. Oh, bless you. Amy, get down. Get down. Sorry, my kitty's looking like she's about to do something naughty. Don't want that. Okay, putting my needle. Now, friends, let me show you the papers from the kit, if you purchased the kit, that I cut my circles from. So we already did the fuchsia papers. So this is paper 13 from my Wonders collection, which is still available online in some places, or the digital collection is always a great option. You can find all of my collections in digital form at acdigitals.com. So I've got one circle from paper 13, the pink side. I'm gonna need these a little bit later. I cut 2 circles from, this is paper 5, also from Wonders. They're all from Wonders. So from paper 5, it's got an orange side and a pink side. So I cut 2 circles. Save this barcode strip if you are taking my layouts class, which is after this mini album class, because we do need it. We'll need all our barcode strips. I cut 2 circles from paper 14, so a yellow circle and a green circle. I cut 1 dark blue circle from paper 3. The back side is this dainty floral, so from paper 3. I cut a purple circle from the B side of paper 7, so the front is this floral and the back is purple. So you'll notice I'm making a rainbow of colors, and I'll bring in my circles in a minute. So the light blue circle from paper 15 one thing to note, again, if you are taking my layouts class right after this one, you want to make sure to cut your circle from this bottom section, either side. I said bottom left, could be bottom right, because we need this section of papers for my layouts class. Oh, did Cheryl say she's not feeling well? I'm scrolling. Oh, so sorry, Cheryl. I hope you feel better. Being sick is the worst. And then we'll need paper 16 for fussy cutting some flowers. Have fun in the mountains, Shannon. It's such a beautiful day here in Colorado today. So fun. Maybe we'll go up to the mountains after my classes. I've kicked my family out of the house. They are currently running errands. they're so good. So cooperative. Okay, I need somewhere to put these. I'll put them on the floor. All right, bringing in my finished pages. Okay, so I've got photo, dark pink, light pink, photo. See if I can fit all of these into the frame. Orange, yellow, photo. So it's going to go photo, pattern paper, photo. Pattern paper, pattern paper, pattern paper, photo. Pattern paper, photo, pattern paper. Now, you know what's funny? Let me see if I can get all these in here. When I assembled my sample, I really intended to put it in this order. So the traditional red, orange, green, blue, purple. But somehow I goofed up when I was assembling my album, and it goes from green to purple and then to light blue to the dark blue. So I'm gonna actually make this album the way I intended it to be. So having it in this traditional rainbow order. So I'm not perfect. We all make mistakes, but you know what? It doesn't really matter in the end, right? You still get the overall rainbow vibe. Okay, all y'all, I hope you feel better. I hope you feel better. It's just no fun to be sick. But, you know, relaxing in bed and watching YouTube is a good thing. All right, I'm looking at my instructions to make sure we follow along. We want to fold all of the pages in half. I feel like it's just easier to decorate your pages and put them all together and add the embellishments and photos after the crease is there, so you know which side is the left side and which side is the right side. Also, to note, I strongly recommend that you decorate all of your pages first before assembling. It's just easier this way. I just try and imagine like decorating these pages when it's inside this stand like this. It's definitely doable, but I feel like doing the pages first just makes it a little easier. So for photos, to fold them in half, it's probably not perfect, and that's okay, but I just, find my vertical orientation and then fold it in half. Use a bone folder to crease and then open it back up. Look, I didn't even get right through my hubby's head. It's meant to be. Grab the next paper, and you can feel this. Friends, there's a thing called grain direction. So if you try folding it and it's giving you some resistance, you're going against the grain. So kind of feel it. See how this folds so much easier? The pressure on my hands is a lot less than trying to bend it this way, like I'm using the same force. So find the grain direction because it's a circle, and so it looks like that means the stripies on the back are going up and down, and then fold in half and open it back up. So for this one, the grain direction is going this way, so it's a lot easier. Well, let me double check. There we go. Once you can feel it fold easily, that's when you know you've found the right grain direction. Next photo, straight up and down as best I can. fold in half and crease. Orange, folding it, there we go. Fold in half and open it back up. Same thing for every paper. Repetition, this is how we're prepping all of our pages. And I don't know if I said it enough, but the hand stitching is completely optional. You do not have to add that step. I mean, it takes, what's 10 times 12? It takes at least 2 hours, I think, to do all of the hand stitching. So I've definitely fast forwarded through time. Hopefully, not hopefully, but what am I trying to say? There's that homework aspect to this class, right? Coming in with these pages hand stitched, or then we'll have the replay. So you can pause, take your time to do the hand stitching, and then come back and see how to assemble the album, okay? Alrighty. This one. It's interesting to me that sometimes the grain direction isn't exactly on the same orientation as the patterns. Here's my photo. The photos are definitely thicker than the pattern papers. Okay, last one, purple. For this one, I wanted the orientation of these printed leaves to be straight up and down. So I actually didn't go with the exact grain. I just went with the orientation. So it's not really a right or wrong way. I just feel like it's easier to adhere the pages together when they're easier to fold up and collapse like that. Time to embellish. Put my bone folder back, and we are going to go through page by page and decorate them. So let me put these, I'm just going to stack them so I have room. I want to make sure I put them in the right order. That's so funny. So photo, photo, green, 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 blue, purple. That's not right. There we go. Right? Photo, paper, paper, photo, paper, paper, photo, paper, paper, photo, paper, paper, with my purple being in the right order. So I'm just going to stack these. And then we'll work on our pages one at a time. Bring my camera a little closer so we can get all the details. Perfect. This is my first page photo. It's a family photo with Prague in the background, and I love how much white space there is to add embellishments and a title. So my title is Prague. So I'm using the thickers from Wonders. And with my crease right here, I know that there is an in-between point. And since there are 6 letters in the word Prague, it's easy to add 3 before the crease and 3 after the crease. Okay, so I mean, maybe your mini album is going to be about Prague, but chances are that it won't. So just curve your title around the curve of the circle. It's really fun to have a circle-shaped album, which is actually the shape that I'm planning to do my December daily this year. So if we have time at the end, I can bring in the start of it. So you see how I'm curving the letters around? Now, one thing with adding anything sticky onto photos is once it's touched that photo, it's basically stuck there forever. And because if you try and peel these letters up, it's going to leave a residue on the photo, which you could cover up with something, additional embellishments, but just eyeballing this, and there we go. So then underneath, I added the year. So from this sticker book, there are transparency alphas and numbers. And again, it just so happens that there are 4, so I can add 2 before the crease and 2 after the crease. We went in 2013, which was almost 10 years ago. And you know what? I am A-okay with documenting memories from 10 years ago just today because I don't know, I just really love telling our stories, whether old or new. 2013. So all of my embellishments, you know, are going to be very personalized and coordinating with my photos, but I'll tell you my tips and tricks throughout. So when you are decorating yours, you can still, you know, get the ideas and get the techniques. So for this photo, I'm just utilizing white space. So space that's unimportant. It basically looks like white cardstock. So I'm adding my title, curving it, adding the year below, and then this floral transparency sticker, I'm going to give it a flat edge. So just coming in and you know what I'm actually going to do, my friends? To help me, because my photos printed are a little, they're not as crisp on my PDF, I'm taking my globe stand apart and then clipping the pages just so I can see them better. So I'll be referring to my album so I can see exactly how things go. Okay, so I'll just set it off to the side. Oop. Okay, so this floral transparency sticker is right here, and good thing I checked because I almost trimmed the wrong edge. I want to make this edge flat, so I'm taking scissors and just trimming across. So now I'm left with a flat edge sticker, and it just kind of becomes like almost like a frame, or it's just a decorative element. That's not enough. I need to trim more. Otherwise, oh, you know what I did? Look what I did in my sample. I actually just trimmed off the leaf. So all good. I'll just trim this leaf down a little bit so it doesn't cover up Chris Evans's head. Did you see that Chris Evans was named like the sexiest man of 2000, was it 22 or 23 or something? I don't know, but I thought that was kind of funny. We get a kick out of his name being Chris Evans. Okay, page 1 done. On to the next. We've got lots to do, my friends. Next page. Oh, let's clip a few more. Okay. Here comes my first photo. Adding it with adhesive on the right side. Oh, actually, I'm adding a label sticker first. Don't glue the photo down. I didn't glue it yet. Don't you glue it either. First, grab this label. So for my album, I'm mostly doing tone on tone. So that means same colored embellishments. And I just want to read directly from my text if I can. Let me find it. Okay, so on the pattern papers, I mostly embellish tone on tone to keep with the rainbow theme, and it helps complete the album faster. You don't really have to think too much about which embellishments to use. You just go through your supplies and find things that help enhance the story and go with the flow. So I just wanted, obviously, I love spending time creating my albums. And this is my favorite part, is the decorating, but it can also be the hardest part because you don't know what to include. It's kind of like the puzzle. And so by embellishing tone on tone, that just kind of helps take away some of the, what do I add? Here's a label sticker in the same color. Sorry, is it a label? What do you call this? Because this one's a label, a tab, there's the word, tab sticker from the chipboard stickers. So I'll be pulling a lot of embellishments from this chipboard sticker set. I love, again, overlapping things onto white space. So we're just going along with the tone on tone. And then I also have a set of puppy stickers. So these are from Wonders. So add a little doilies. It's also got some blue in there, and it's okay to add things not 100% in the same colorway, because in my photo, there's a lot of different colors going on, and so having embellishments that have the extra pops of color ties it all together. For my journaling, oh, I didn't add my journaling strips on the first page. Sorry, friends, I didn't even talk about it. On the first page, here is my journaling. What I do for my journaling is I type it out in a Word doc or a Google Drive doc. I use the font Remington Noiseless, which looks like a typewriter font. I really love it. And then I trim it into strips. When I trim it into strips, then I can adhere it with liquid glue onto the pages. Again, in more white space, right? I'm not covering up our faces, just adding the journaling. You can even handwrite it. If you have like a slick writer pen, you can write directly on your photos. Okay, so I won't be adding my journaling throughout this album, the sample album, but that is how I do it. Print it out, trim it into strips, glue it in place. Moving right along with the tone-on-tone embellishing. So here is a really pretty mandala. It's got gold foil. And then I know this isn't a picture of Jane because she's the one who really loves birds, but there were definitely a lot of birds flying around in these big cities that we visited. So here I'm creating just a little cluster of embellishments right here, and I'll continue creating another little cluster down here with teeny tiny stickers from the sticker book. So this page has some semicircles and some words. I want this orange, so it's actually orange, but you know, it can pass as a red. And there's a page of transparency stickers from this first page where we got the floral. There is a heart in this same color, so add it down here in the cluster. On the tab, I have a matching colored pen, and I can write so very cute. So my handwriting is still included throughout this album in little bits here and there because I think it's important for posterity. And then my journaling strips can go here, they can go here. If you have a lot more to say, maybe you can use a white pen to write your journaling. And that is the second page done. Next page. Flip to it. So my photos, this page has 2 photos. These are all 2 by 3 in size. Before I add it, looks like I've got a label sticker. So from the sticker book, there is a pink label with this pretty doily design at the top. So I'm putting it to the left of the crease, centered. So there's an even amount of space above and below, and then adding my photo on top. So it's kind of like a little pattern paper, just a little pop of color underneath to give it some interest and create this cluster to draw your eye right in. So same technique as before. We're embellishing tone on tone. So here is a pink chipboard sticker. So it's from that 12 by 12 chipboard sticker set. And then I'm going to start bringing in some flowers. Yay, I love flowers. So right now you'll notice that I am overlapping my embellishments off the sides. And originally, I was just going to leave them like that. I love having the bits and bobbles and sticky outy things all over my edges. But then when I put my mini album inside the globe stand, can you see how they caught on the edges? So we have to trim all of these sticky outy things off, which is the reason I really love having this added texture of the whip stitch. So one way to get around this, if you want to have things sticking out, is to have your pages smaller. If you have your whole album sized to 5 inches, then you'll have a little bit more space to add sticky outy bits. So right now, things are hanging off the edges, but it will not always be so. We will trim them off before we assemble our album. Okay, so here is a floral chipboard sticker. Before I get this down, I want to add a little sentiment. I don't think I need my thickers anymore, so I'm going to put my thickers off to the side so I can find my embellishments quicker. So here's the love, a round love sticker, and going to put it directly on the photo, add my journaling strips, and then come in with these pretty chipboard flowers. So I don't want to cover too much of the stitching, but by nature, it's just going to come right to the edge. I'm being mindful of my crease, so I'm just bringing the flower right to the edge of the crease. And then adding the second one along this edge. It's actually going to go underneath, and let me trim it off. So trimming off right above this flower, and then tucking it underneath. So this larger pink flower is the central focus. There we go. Love that, easy peasy. So some pages are going to have more decorations than others, but I just love, you know, all the details. There's definitely still a lot going on. I don't think it looks like it's lacking, you know, but there's still space where you could add more things if you wanted to. And definitely don't forget about the journaling, right? So here's what it looks like with the journaling strips. So that just completes the look. Oh, Kara, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you're loving this. The whole time I was putting this together, I just had a huge smile on my face. You know, you can't help but smile when you're making something and it just comes together exactly as you envisioned. And I really hope that you feel the same way as you are making this mini album. Here's an example of a more simple page because I want my photo to be the star of the show. So all I really did is add a chipboard rainbow sticker on the side, and then I tucked a little semicircle that says this underneath, and then topped it with a caption that says inside the Church of St. James. So you can add a little typed and printed or handwritten and cut out sentiment to explain what your photo is about. That one's done. Okay, so for this page, we're going to create a photo flip, which is kind of fun. So bring this in, bring in my photos. So for this, we need 3 photos. Let me show you what it looks like. I feel like it's easier to see things first to understand what we're doing. So here's what we're creating. It's a little tri-fold, accordion fold photo flip that gets tucked into these flowers. So what we want to do is, I included a package of Dear Lizzie cardstock stickers, and the one that I need is this gold pennant. Another suggestion for this is washi tape or just any kind of sticker that you can trim to look like washi tape, essentially. So trim it in half, you know, yeah, trim it in half. Flip it over. Make it more central in the video. Add super sticky double-sided tape because these cardstock stickers are just not strong enough. I'm telling you the honest truth. The adhesive on these is not the best, so we'll make it better. I'm trimming off the excess. Okay. Push your photo side by side, peel off that protective backing, and then press it in between the seams of the photos. I'm going to bring in my bone folder to really, really, really press it. So I'm having this angled edge down that way and this angled edge facing the opposite direction. Bring in the bone folder, crease it, and now fold it accordion style. So that means this photo is going that way, and then this photo is going this way. Okay, so we've created our little photo flip, and then you can embellish as much or as little as you want as your photos allow. So on this, I don't know how you pronounce this, turtleneck, but it's a really, really, really tasty dessert that we would get every time we would visit Prague, and so we love it so much it deserves a heart. And then I topped it with a printed caption. And then on this side, since this page is orange, I'm going to add an orange heart sticker. And then you know me, I love creating easy ways to grab onto things and turn pages. So for this right edge, I used back-to-back semicircle puffy stickers. So here's one, and then back it with another one. Okay, so there's our photo flip. Now we need to be able to insert it into the album. To do this, grab a floral die cut and trim it in half. So I'm just trimming it right in between. Add liquid glue. Hold on, friends, I'm turning to the right page in my instructions, so I make sure to describe this correctly. Okay, so add liquid glue across the straight edges only. Okay, you don't want to get glue anywhere else on the flower, or else the glue will get on your photos. Okay. Hold your photos in place, and then press the flower right above it and right below it. So I need, oops, not, I almost put the gluey side. So you want your straight edge down like this. I'm holding everything in place until it dries. Okay, so you got your flat side up at the top and the flat side down at the bottom. And I'm just holding it in place until it dries. Okay, I think it's dry, but I'm not going to touch it quite yet because I want to add 2 orange floral stickers above. So here's one above, and that'll help it stay in place as well. And another floral sticker. Now, friends, I do recommend actually using liquid glue to attach all of these embellishments in place. Seems like it's stuck down pretty good, but off camera, I will come in and add liquid glue underneath all of my embellishments. Just, you know, better safe than sorry, because things do tend to come apart with lots of wear and tear and over the years. So, okay, on the left side, since we've got our cute photo flip, look, now it can come in and out. Ta-da! Oh my goodness. I love the interactive elements throughout this album. So then you just tuck it under these floral halves and it stays in place. Okay, so for this side, I want to add a flower. And let's see, I'm looking at my sample. It goes almost to the edge. I'm just going to trim off this part so it can meet the crease. I know, she was so little. I'm trying to think, if this was 2013 and she was born in 2012, that makes her 1 year old. She was 1. She wasn't even walking yet. We'll get to a photo of me helping her try and learn how to walk. Because yeah, she wasn't even walking. So cute. Okay, adding this chipboard wonderful sticker at an angle. It just fits better that way, right? If I had put it this way, I would have had to trim it off. So I don't mind having a crooked, it's not even crooked, it's just a straight up and down. And then even this way, it looks like a decorative element. There's an orange sticker that says awesome, which everything about this trip was. I'm tucking that underneath. and then coming in with two more orange embellishments. So more tone on tone. One is a puffy sticker, so there's an orange mandala or doily, whatever you want to call it. And then my little tip for transparency stickers. I don't really love transparency stickers as is very much. So what I like to do is turn them into die cuts so they're not see-through. So I just have a piece of scratch printer paper, and if you put your die cut on top and use a bone folder, you can smooth out the bubbles underneath it, and then use scissors to fussy cut it out. And I like leaving the white edge so that way it looks like a little die cut. So I'll be doing this a few more times throughout this album with these transparency stickers. And now I really like the transparency sticker. But as is, you know, if you place it right on these busy pattern papers, you totally lose it. You can't even see it anymore. So that's my little tip, my little trick for making the most out of transparency stickers. We have had snow, Gloria. We've had snow, but it's all melted away. So I'm sure we always get lots of snow here in Colorado. Great. Okay, that is this page done. On to the next. Here's our yellow page. And gotta put my pin back in my glue so it doesn't get dry. I've got two photos for this page. So one on the left, one on the right. I'll just add a little adhesive in the center of the back only so that I can still tuck things underneath. So this one's going to go slightly higher and this one slightly lower. Ooh. Okay, so you can see how they're on slightly different levels, and that just creates some more interest. I don't do that on every page. Sometimes they're at the same level, but this one, they're a little squampus just to make them more interesting. Here is a cardstock sticker, so I'm trimming it in half to create some balance. So this one I will tuck under this edge, and this one I will tuck under this edge. Same exact thing with the next embellishment, which will be a yellow floral die cut. So trimming this one in half, and I will tuck, oops, add liquid glue. Guys, I don't know why that keeps falling over. Tuck it under the top side, and tuck this one under the bottom side. So everything that I'm doing on the left side, I'm doing on the right side as well to create balance and uniformity. Okay. Great. Coming in with some more embellishments. So I've got a yellow butterfly. This is the yellow page after all. So I'm not too sure how much a butterfly has to do with these, but it's pretty. So it's pretty, so that works for me. I am trimming off the right edge just a little bit so that it fits into this crease. These are beautiful buildings. So look, I've got a yellow building sticker that totally works. I don't want to cover up too much of my photo, but just overlap it a little bit. And a yellow heart sticker, overlapping. Oh, that's not the same one. Where is that one from? Oh, also a Dear Lizzie cardstock sticker. So overlap the white space at the bottom edge. Oh, I did use that. Here, I did use that yellow sticker, right? So a yellow heart sticker on this page, balanced by a yellow heart sticker on the left page. I did the same thing with a yellow transparency floral sticker as with the previous page. So I'm grabbing it, adding it onto scrap white cardstock. Well, it's actually not white cardstock. It's just white printer paper. And then fussy cutting it out. And this makes it more like a die cut. Any questions at this point? Once we finish embellishing all our pages, then we can assemble the album. So this embellishing part will be, slightly different, or maybe lots different for your album than mine, just depending on what you are documenting, which collection you are using. So overlap there right at the photo. So the photos get incorporated into the design. And memories, it's orange, or it's yellow, not orange. And then I had a printed caption right above. There we go. Next, we're on to a full page photo. So the only embellishing I do on photos is very minimal. I added a butterfly die cut across the seam, and I trimmed the bottom to be straight edged. So that way I could have a die cut flush with it. Or not a die cut, I'm sorry. Trying to think too much. A cardstock sentiment sticker aligned on the bottom edge. So putting this butterfly right across the seam, stick it in place. And then this Stay Colorful sentiment is from the Dear Lizzie cardstock stickers. You can just overlap and then refold it. There we go. That's all I did. Easy peasy. So now the photo, the large photo, tells the story and makes a big impact. Next, we're onto the light green page. Okay, so here I've got photo 2x3. This photo, I actually made it 2 inches square, but it could still be 2x3, I'm anxious to see what size photos you use. This is the only one, so it's kind of the outlier where it's the only one that's different sized than the rest. Well, I guess I've got my full 5.5-inch round photos, right? But the bottom basically gets covered up. So even if it was 2x3 instead of 2x2, it still works. So for this, Chris and the kids in the stroller are very, very small. So I wanted to highlight them with a frame. So from the chipboard stickers, there is a pretty heart frame. So that just perfectly fits right over them, and it's green with little bits of pink. So it works for this green page. From the cardstock stickers, there's one that says nice, and it's mint green, same thing. So it fits. And this one is also from the Dear Lizzie stickers. So nice, and this little trio of flowers are from the Dear Lizzie stickers. I added journaling strips underneath. One little typo I made in the instructions. It says that this bee is from the cardstock stickers, but it's not. It's actually a die cut. So from the Wonders die cuts, the floral die cut pack, that's where this little bee comes from. So add a little glue to make it sticky and overlap it on the photo. There were lots of flowers all around, which I'm very grateful for, because that means I get to add a lot of flowers onto my page, but I'm not going to add that yet. I want to add, there is a floral cardstock sticker that I'm tucking underneath, and this pennant side will eventually get trimmed off. I didn't realize that when I was, making my sample until I tried to put it into the globe. So it gets trimmed off, but you still get to see the peaks of the flowers underneath. So then topping it with a flower pot, because in this photo there are pots of flowers, so I thought it made good sense. From the stickers, so this is one instance where I didn't put any white paper underneath it. It just kind of became a textured and sparkly design since it's got the gold foiling details. So I'm tucking it underneath the photo. You can see that's why I only ever add adhesive on the back of the center, so that I can come back in and tuck things underneath if I choose to do so. I love being able to have that option instead of ripping it off and then creating tears on the background. From the puffy stickers, here's a little doily. And that's that. Cruising along. We'll be finished and ready to assemble our album soon. Okay, I'm gonna skip over the purple because that wasn't the way I wanted it. I wanted the blue page next. So this one includes another photo fold up, just like we made on the orange page. So I'm going to fast forward through my PDF to that one. Okay, so let me show you so you can see what we're making. Here's the tri-fold accordion fold photos once again. So grab your 3 photos. These are all sized to 2 by 3. And I'm using another cardstock sticker from the Dear Lizzie set. So it's this one with the pennant, or you could use washi tape. Cut it in half. Flip the pieces over. Grab super sticky double-sided tape. Place it on the back. And then peel off the protective layer. And this time for these, between these two, I want the angle going down. So press your photos together. Place the sticker in between. And then I want the angle opposite direction between these 2 photos. So put your photos together. Put the sticker over the seam. And then I'm using a bone folder to really press it in place. So now when you fold it back, fold it over. There we go. You can use your bone folder again to press it. And then for the page turner, I used a light blue chipboard tab sticker. So this is from the chipboard stickers. And then I wrote, once again, adding my handwriting, I wrote, "So amazing." Or you could use a sentiment sticker, you know, but I did just want to include my handwriting somewhere because it's mostly printed journaling. All right, same as before. We're going to get a floral die cut and trim it in half. Let's see here. Trim it in half. Add liquid glue across the straight edges. And then this is where we need 3 hands. This album requires 3 hands. Asterisk. Let's see, just a second. Yep, just making sure I don't have any people trying to get in last minute. Looks good, looks good. Great. Okay, so fold it up. You want your straight edge, hard to grab without getting glue. Straight edge at the top, and the straight edge at the bottom, So your flower petals are overlapping the photos so that it will hold in place. Just hold it in place while it dries. There we go. And then as a little added detail, I grabbed a mandala puffy sticker, cut it in half. Let's see, let's go this way. And then just overlapped it above the straight edges on those flowers. So it also helps keep it in place. Then on the left side, since we finished with the right side, look, our photos can now stay in place. Oh, I added my journaling strips, just a little caption onto white space of the photos if you choose to do that. So then on the left side, I've added a blue flower die cut. Only adhesive in the middle, so then the petals can lift and bend and create that all-important texture and dimension that we love so much. And then it's kind of a large doily chipboard sticker. overlapping. I'm just creating a cute little cluster for some interest on this left side. And then a blue house sticker. This is the blue page after all, so just going through your stash and finding things that are blue that will go along with your photos. So I've got some buildings in my photos, so a building made sense here. I also added one little sticker from the sticker book. It says this here. So it's just fun to add these tiny details. It's kind of like, you know, a Where's Waldo situation where you look through and you can find all these little details. Okay, so if I'm going back, since I made my album out of order accidentally, it went green, blue, and now photo. So for this page, all I did was add, sometimes I have to pause and put my needle back in so my glue doesn't dry out. I added, wow, that's all, and a little caption underneath. I just love views. I can't tell you how many steps that I climbed while we were living abroad just to get a good view. I will do many things like climbing hundreds, maybe even thousands of steps. So I wanted this view photo to get a whole page. I had to sneeze. Excuse me. And then slightly curved, right? Our pages are curved. It's fun to enhance that by just slightly curving our letters. So I started with the center. It went right over the seam or the crease, seam, and then worked my way outwards. Done and done with that one. I love full page photos. They're so easy and make a great big impact. We have 2 more pages before we start assembling. And this one is fun. It has a little photo flip up. So let me show you that. So I always have more photos than I seem to be able to include. And so one way around that is with photo flip up. So note to self, we will, I think it's even got, oh no, I didn't add double-sided tape. I should do that. So we will do that as we're making this. So grab 2 photos that are 2 by 3. Grab your page. Let me turn to this page in my book or my PDF. And let's layer these up. So what I did is grabbed a label sticker. Was it this one? So I used this label sticker and I only used part of it. And as we saw, and I should have known when I was making my sample, the adhesive wasn't quite strong enough. So I'm adding super sticky double-sided tape onto it to enhance it and make it stay in place. So glue your first photo onto the page. Place your second photo. I always just like to have it slightly above so you can see that there's something going on underneath, and then overlap the top edge with your sticker. And you can press it in place, lift it up, make sure it lifts up. Looks like it does. All good. And now we embellish. So I love the page turners. And since this is the blue section, I'm using a blue puffy sticker on the front and the back. On the back side, you could either add another photo, you could add journaling. I just added more embellishments. So I added a heart because I love my little boy so much. And I added a sentiment. These are both from the Dear Lizzie cardstock stickers that says hip hip hooray because he's got a sucker. He was so happy. Also on the Dear Lizzie cardstock stickers, there's an ice cream cone, which I know he's not eating an ice cream cone, but it is something that he's eating. So I thought that made sense. Like a sucker and an ice cream cone kind of go hand in hand. At the top, I added a chipboard tab. And I used a printed caption to say all is well when Fox has a sucker. So my caption goes on the tab as well as on the label sticker. Now I've got a fun flip up, interactive, more interactive elements. And then for the left side, I just cascaded all kinds of blue embellishments down the side. So we've got a butterfly die cut. Hi, Becky. Thanks for popping in. You're so sweet, and I'm so excited to see your mini album. It's so fun to have friends here. Thank you all for being here. Makes my day. Without you, this wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? Okay, so camera sticker, it's blue, and I take a lot of pictures, so that works. From these are both from Dear Lizzie, that Dear Lizzie set, the camera and this sentiment that says, hooray. Be mindful that it's probably going to get trimmed off of the edge when we get to that point. And then a blue chipboard sticker that says love. Don't want it to go into the crease. If things overlap the crease in the center, you need to make sure that it's bendable. Chipboard is not bendable. If you place this chipboard over the crease, your pages won't turn. That's a tip I should have shared a long time ago, but you know, I said it now, right? So make sure your sturdy embellishments do not go across the crease. If it's going to go across the crease, it needs to be able to bend and fold. This was a chipboard sticker. This floral cluster is from the Dear Lizzie stickers. And then finishing with a round chipboard sticker in this dark blue teal color. Ta-da! There we go. We are on to the last page. Sweet. I have to go back in my album because, again, I didn't put it in the right order. I can't believe it. For loving rainbows so much, it's funny that I didn't put it in the right order. Not a huge deal. Okay, photo on the right side, framed with a chipboard frame sticker. And actually, this comes in handy, what I just said about things overlapping. You'll notice I have to trim off a little bit of the edge so it doesn't overlap the crease. Because why? If you overlap the crease, it ain't gonna open anymore. So trim off just a little section. I'm starting kind of by this red flower, going up to the blue flower, making it as straight edge as possible. Okay, and then put it on top of your photo. And I mean, it's not a huge deal, but those little sticky outy bits from the photo, you can trim those off. You can leave them be, but you know, I think it looks a little cleaner without having those corners sticking out. So you can just take a pair of scissors, trim off those corners that are sticking out, and then you'll have to add glue onto the back of the photo. Press it in place. Again, make sure you're not overlapping the crease. Great. Okay. Purple is the name of the game on this page, friends. So I'm grabbing a purple flower, a larger one, so that'll balance the larger frame die cut. Purple butterflies, because they're pretty and dainty. Purple butterfly chipboard sticker, and then a smaller flower die cut. Last thing on this purple page, oh, two more things. I've got a purple purple tab sticker, which is where I added my typed and printed and trimmed and glued journaling, just overlapping this kind of the yellow part so that the purple is still the predominant color. And now the last thing on the purple page is this purple chipboard, kind of looks like a tile, just a geometric shape. Tuck it underneath the flower. There we go. So I've got all this prettiness balanced with this photo surrounded by the floral frame. All right, my friends. Those are all our pages. Now comes the the assembling part. Let me clean up a little bit so I can, try and explain explain this best as I can without getting distracted by all these fun embellishments, and I'll need my work surface. Okay. So first we need to attach our pages back to back. So I'm grabbing, well, they're stacked in this order. It really doesn't matter the order as long as you do them all sequentially. So grab your page and some liquid glue or super sticky double-sided tape. I'm going to use my liquid glue, and add it on the back right half. So I am going over the threads, touching my glue onto the threads, filling it in. Okay, so the previous page is going to be this dark blue one. So what you do is flip it over, attach it on top, make sure your seams are flush, you know, they're the same, going the same direction, and then press it in place. I'm pressing the edges together to get them to stick together. Now they won't be exactly touching straight up close because of the thread, but it doesn't bother me. I think it still looks good. And I like all that texture. Okay, so let's repeat. So we're going to attach this next page onto this side. So flip it over, add adhesive, liquid glue down the straight edge and around the round edge. On top of the threads, fill it in. We're attaching our pages back to back. So grab your photo page, stick them together, and press. You could also use super sticky double-sided tape if you're more comfortable using that instead of liquid glue. Use your bone folder to press it in place. Okay. And the next page, so add glue onto the back of this page and we'll attach the next page in place. Repeat for all the pages. So friends, this part's a little repetitive, so it's a good time to let me know if you have any questions about anything at this point. How are you doing so far? Is this easier, harder, or just about what you expected? What are you going to make your mini album about? Is it going to be travel themed? You know, it's a globe shape after all, right? So I figure a globe would lend itself well to a travel themed album. Okay, next. Set down the crease around the edges. Side and press the next page. Oh, look, here's what I did. My chipboard flower is overlapping the seam, so I'm trimming off the edge of this leaf so that it can fold in half. There we go. And press it in place. And it's okay. No rush. We have time to figure it all out. You know, you can cut out the pages and do the stitching first, right? Ooh, that sounds fun, Kelly. Australia. I've never been to Australia. It's on my bucket list. Okay, repeat. So glue down the left edge. Glue along the threads. And inside. Yeah, good. I'm glad. Glad they'll be travel themed. You know, it just makes sense. But of course, it doesn't have to be. There are no rules. Yeah, I would love to give a koala a big hug. That would be fun. Okay, we're getting there. Next page. Adding glue, gluing all my pages together, putting glue on the threads. Fill it in. So we started watching, oh, as I live in Argentina and I can't, but, oh, yeah. I know, that's hard. I mean, I think Jessica ships worldwide. So reach out to me. It says Scrap and Me. So Scrap and Me, you can reach out to me and we'll try and figure it out, okay? Our March cruise, DNA World Tour. Yeah, that totally works. A world tour and it's world shaped. That totally works. Okay. I'm like, I keep looking at my pile thinking it's getting bigger, but I still have many pages to adhere. That's awesome. So many pages. Becky, how about another trip to Wallace? That was so funny. So friends, last weekend, Becky and I taught a virtual event with Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine. And I tried to pop on to the other videos, the other teachers' classes, you know, I just like to see how other people teach. I love the ideas. Like Becky did a flip up for her photos and it was amazing. But I saw the photos that she was using in Wallace, which if you remember, I made my 4th of July album completely about our trip to Wallace. And so I shared the link with my parents. And I know you're not supposed to do that, right? Because it's a paid class. But, you know, my parents aren't scrapbookers. They're not going to share it with anybody. But they instantly recognized the photos that Becky was using. And it was just really fun. Oh, okay. Perfect, Jennifer. Thank you. Outtakes. Yeah. Okay. Love this. Love the conversation. I don't think we're going to go back to Wallace this 4th of July. And I'll tell you the honest reason, and it's kind of macabre, and it's just superstitious. But the last 2 years in a row, when we went to Wallace for the 4th of July, one of our beloved pets died. So I'm like, I'm not risking it. Not risking it again. July 2021, Rachel passed away. And then July 2022, Jill passed away. So it's like, I'm not repeating anything we've done these past Julys. So anyway, I'm sure we'll go back, but we're not going to go in July for at least a little while. But I do love Wallace. We've been many times outside of 4th of July. Okay, from my pile, look, I've got my photo on top, but it's actually the pink page that needs to go next. So then it's the same pattern throughout where it's paper, paper, photo, paper, paper, photo. So just be mindful when you've got your, when your stacks and you're gluing them back to back like this. Yeah, just be sure which order you're gluing them in, which colors. This one's actually going to be in rainbow color as opposed to my sample. So I'm excited about that. Oh, Kelly, you're talking about, so yesterday in my newsletter, I just announced my next in-person event, which is in Round Top, Texas, which is where Joanna Gaines goes to that like antique, it's an antique market. And I'm super excited. It's going to be in these cute little glampers. And yeah, so all of the info was just released in my newsletter yesterday. Okay, so how are we looking? I'm smushing these together. So for the last page, let's open it up. For the last page, which is my photo, I'm going to add adhesive across both pages this time. So this is how I'm attaching all of the pages together to create the spherical shape. So across the right page and across the left page. Okay, so putting my last photo right on in. Trying to make the edges aligned with both sides. And luckily I've got a little bit of time. Excuse me, I've got a little bit of time before the glue completely dries. So I can make any adjustments to make sure my edges line up. My hands are sweaty, so I don't want to press the photo too much, but do want to get it glued well, which looks like the glue did dry pretty fast in this case, so just get it stuck. Oh wow, it dried really fast on that page too. That's funny, that hasn't happened to me before. So if it does this, another option is to use double-sided tape. And I think I'm gonna hold it in place longer. Hold on, we'll get there. Just trying to rush things. Shouldn't rush it so much. Holding it in place. I saw that Kelly, and how cool. No, it's not camping, Cheryl. It's glamping. So it's like inside this big building with all these campers, you know, but there's still amenities, I think, I hope. I should find out. All right, let's see how we're doing. Looks good. All my pages are attached. And it's my globe shape. If some of these little openings are bothering you, you could just come in with more adhesive. Just make sure things are set right and really attached well together. I'm kind of rushing my way through this. Just make sure pages are glued and set before moving on to the next ones, okay? At this point is when we need to trim off all of our extra bits that are hanging off the edges, or else it won't fit in the stand. So I'm grabbing a pair of scissors and trimming off excess things that are hanging off the edges, and I'm being careful not to cut the threads, right? My hand stitching that I spent a couple hours on, I don't want to ruin it. So I'm just being careful to avoid snipping through the stitching. Nothing on this page. There's a little flower hanging off the edge right here. Snip that off. So I'm doing the right pages first, and then I'll flip it over to do the opposite pages. There's a lot sticking off these edges, so trim it off. And I was really sad to do this when I was making my sample, but you know, the globe had to fit. So if you make your pages smaller, they will fit. But by then I was already pot committed. I had made all my pages. It was time to assemble, so we gotta do what we gotta do, and it still looks good, you know. At least I think so. Oh. Okay, so just a few more things to trim off. Looks like I've got some flowers hanging off right here. Okay, and some orangey things hanging off here. They just keep coming. Okay, all right, I think that's all. And these pages really do not want to stay together. That last set, giving me grief. Come on. I'm going to add more glue. Come on. Stick together. All right, comments. I'm a bit of a travel princess. Oh, you crack me up. I know. We are who we are. Okay. Okay. Are we ready? Are we ready to assemble? Here it comes. I put my pin back in. Let me turn to my instructions and we'll get this album assembled. So this, my friends, this is the part that I worry the most about just because it's so, like there's many ways that it can come together and be done. I will show you how I do it. And since this is the first mini album I've seen like this, of this kind, it could be up for, you know, there could be a better way to do this, but my album stays together, so it works. And yeah, I'm open to suggestions if you figure out a better way to do this, but it works. All right, just clearing off my work surface. Let's turn to the assembling page. Sherry, the acrylic bases will always be available. You know, I say always, things could change, but Jessica plans to have them always available in her shop. So that's great. Let's bring in our acrylic stand. There is a protective backing, so we need to peel this off. It's got a paper protective layer, so just peel this off. Yeah, I definitely need more too, though. Once you make one, you'll have all kinds of ideas. Can you imagine just like a whole shelf of globe mini albums? And then the base piece has a layer as well, and so does the charm. So let's just take the time to peel off these layers. Otherwise, the stand won't even fit together. It'll be too thick because it's made to perfectly fit, and even this really thin protective layer just makes it too thick to slide together. So peel these off, and on the charm. Okay, so now we need to bring in our thread. And I just chose a coordinating color, but the color of your thread, it doesn't matter. It could be whatever color you want. Did the bases come in different colors? Not as is, but you could always reach out to Jessica to see if she can cut it in a custom color. Because I think at the beginning she was going to do custom colors, but then it just got, you know, too complicated. So I know she's always up for custom things though. Okay, so I have 60 inches of thread and I need to make it 20 inches. I need 3 20-inch pieces. So I'm bringing in a ruler, and 12 plus 8 is 20. I need my scissors back. 12 plus 8 is 20. Me too, Elizabeth. I know, I'm thinking about my Page Pals 4 classes, which I need to start working on soon. And I'm just thinking ahead about what I can do with Jessica. Maybe like acrylic covers. That would be really fun. Let me take a drink of water really quick, my friends. Okay. All right. Here we go. Slide the pieces together. So where there's slits, they just slide together. It's a pretty tight fit. Interesting. Let's see. Let's try it a different way. There we go. Might have to knock it a little bit, use a little hammer, but this way it's just really set in there. Oh no! Oh my gosh, I just broke it. Okay, well that's good to know. Let's not do that. Good thing I have a backup. If yours breaks like that, sorry friends. let me know and we'll fix it because that's not supposed to happen. I was giving it too much force. Yeah, if yours breaks, Marilyn, let Jessica know and we'll replace it for you. Okay? Yeah, woo, that was tight squeeze. Maybe we can increase, I'll let her know and we can increase the size of the gap a little bit. Didn't happen in the sample, but if it broke, yeah, let me know. Yours broke too? Uh-oh, guys, we're having issues, but don't worry, we will fix it, I promise, because we know that it's not supposed to happen, right? With my sample, it didn't happen. If it breaks, reach out to me, reach out to Jessica. We'll fix it. Oh no, these are all breaking. That's so awful. Okay, we'll fix it, guys. We will fix it, I promise. Just reach out to me and we'll send replacements with bigger ones, okay? It'll be okay. It'll all work out. Replacements. Okay. So, sorry about that. Geez, that's not supposed to happen, huh? But to assemble it, once you do get your fixed globe stand, place one string straight across on your desk. Grab your globe and place it over the top. And you want to, oh, sorry, let me move it so we can see. You want to pass your strings in between a set of pages, and what you ideally want is for them to be opposite pages. So you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages here. Is it 10 pages? Hold on, let me double check that so I'm not reading or telling you wrong instructions. So in between, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 5 and 5. Say, bring it in, and what you want to do is have it centered. Okay, so have it centered. Can you see how there's an even gap between the stand and the pages? And this way it dangles. So have it dangling with an even amount of space between, and then tie a knot. Okay, so when you're tying your knot, you can adjust the knot, the tightness, to make sure that it's dangling between. See this? See how it's dangling? And then you'll want to tie a double knot. Once it's dangling freely, tie your double knot. And this just makes it so it's centered in between. Okay? So your globe should be able to move around. I think I need to make mine a little tighter. Move it up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so just make sure it's dangling and free to roam about the cabin, right? So it's still like it'll still catch on the sides if you're being loosey-goosey with it, but it should be stationary in the center. But although to make it even more stationary so that it's not just moving around like this, it's hard to do. I wonder if I can change the angle. Let me change the angle of my camera so you can see this better. Move it down. Okay, so what we want to do now is take our other 2 strings and pass them through the hole at the base of the stand. Oops, I'll move it down even more. Okay. All right, so then grab one set of strings. oops, one set. Make sure you grab the same ends of the string. And pass it through opposite sides again. All right, so you've got this set of strings that we first did is in between this set of photos. I've skipped a couple. Actually, I want to do it in the previous one. So I want to skip 2 pages. So this one is going in between the yellow page and then between the purple page. And then, right, so you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you'll always want to have 5 pages in between the sets that you're doing. So this one is in between the purple page and the yellow page. And then I'm tying a knot at the top. I'm tying a double knot. Make sure it stays in place. So now with this second string, your globe won't move around. It's just standing in the stand, right? So it's still centered. You can still move your pages around, but now it's not going to move around. Just to make it a little bit more sturdy with that last string set, let me trim these thread ends a little bit. Mariposa, the link to the acrylic stands is in the PDF. Let me show that really quick. The link to the stand is right here. But right after class, I'm going to reach out to Jessica and we'll get it fixed. Okay? All will be good. We might have to be patient for a little bit, which is not my best forte, but it'll all work out. Okay, so now we've got strings. Let me count. We've got strings in between this photo and this photo. And then whether you want them in between photos or pattern papers, it's totally up to you. You just want to try and space your strings out and have 5 in between them all. So now I'm going to go in between the light green and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in between the light green and the dark purple pages. Not dark purple, dark pink, okay? So in between the dark pink and the light green. I actually prefer going through pattern papers instead of photos. So there we go. Tie a double knot and then tie on the charm. I have to lick the end of the string, just a sec. Tie on the charm, so thread it through. And then you can tie the strings into another knot and finally into, well, actually, let's do a double knot into a little bow. There we go. Okay. Awesome. There we go. So now our globe sits and spins within this stand. And so at this point, when I had finished my sample, I was like, oh, this is so cute. This is so fun. But it still felt a little unfinished to me. So that's when I came in and decided to add the embellishments onto the stand. So let me show you how I did that. Okay, I'm gonna take it out of the base. I'm kind of scared to do that now. Maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't do that, but we'll move the camera back up so we can decorate the spine. What do you call this? The globe stand, the acrylic part. Okay, let me make sure it's in the frame. Sorry, I adjusted my camera. There we go. Okay, so from paper 16, these are great flowers for fussy cutting. And I cut, let's see, let me grab them. Sorry, friends, I still need more space. Let me adjust that. I bring in all the flowers that I fussy cut. So I fussy cut a red flower. I fussy cut three yellow flowers. And then a few different clusters. So I got 1, 2, 3, a second red flower, and then 4. Okay, so let me slide those off so you can see them better. And if you are wanting to cut the exact same, you can re-watch and press pause on these flowers so you can make sure to cut the same ones. But you can see there's only these 4 different types repeated. So these 2 are the same. These 3 yellow flowers are the same. I just didn't cut around the purple part on a couple of them. The 2 red flowers, and then these 2 clusters with the purple, blue, and pink. Okay, so those are all the flowers that I fussy cut, and I glued them onto the stand. I'm trying to remember if I used super glue or if just the liquid glue would work. Let's find out. Let's see if regular liquid glue will work on the stand. So I'm also grabbed some chipboard stickers. And I like how it can just kind of curve around the base, and then I would tuck my flowers underneath. And I also brought in some floral die cuts. So in addition to the fussy cut flowers, I'm using some flowers on the front side and the back side, including this pink flower, this purple flower, this darker pink, and an orange. So, sorry, I'm just looking at my sample. I want to make sure I don't lead you astray. Adding liquid glue and tucking it under. I definitely know I'm going to have to reinforce the chipboard with more glue. That's just a fact. And then, how about a yellow flower? So this part is totally up to you whether you want to embellish more. And I know it's very florally and very pretty, so it's you know, like I say, I am who I am. I just love all the flowers. And it looks like I even added more of the transparency flower stickers and fussy cut them out. Here, let me move over so we can see the sample. This blue flower right here is from the transparency stickers. So what do? We make it like a die cut. So I'm peeling it off, adding it to white paper, smooth it out with the bone folder, and fussy cut it out. So then it becomes more like a die cut, and that way you get a wider range variety of the flowers because that paper that I fussy cut them from, like I said, there's just only a few different kinds, and I like having all the different varieties. Oh yes, happy belated birthday, Louise. That's so fun. Can't wait to see it. Yes, please be sure to share your finished pictures in the Page Pals Facebook group. So this one I'm going to tuck up underneath and then bring in the larger flower die cuts. Tuck it underneath, tuck the purple one, add a red one, add some glue. So this is just the finishing touch. Like I added, I got that one already. So then even chipboard stickers, there's a few chipboard flowers. Yay, all the different kinds of flowers. It makes my heart so happy. So I've got paper, I've got sticker, I've got die cut, I've got chipboard, just any type of flower, you name it, I'm gonna add it. Here's one of these clusters. underneath using utmost concentration. Oh, thank you, Leslie. Yeah, we need more stands and we need to make a little adjustment to them. So it is what it is, you know. It's paper and stickers and we'll fix it and make it right. Okay. Chipboard flower sticker right there. The last thing I did on the front part of the stand is I added a gold heart sticker at the very tippy top edge of the stand. And then a transparency flower sticker. I'm trying to see if it's orange. Nope, it's red. Where did that one come from? From this sheet of the transparency stickers, there's a little dark pink one. It's not red, it's dark pink. Add it right next to the bottom. So that just kind of finishes off the cluster. It just peters out. And that's the front side. For the back side, gotta be careful, it's very dainty. I added more flowers. So I'm trying to get a good angle so I can see and do this. So trim off the bottom half of the floral die cut and add it onto the back side along with a floral cluster. And then once we get all the flowers in place, then we'll come in and add the travel stickers. So we want to get our flowers in place first. It seems like the liquid glue isn't holding it in place, so I do believe that I used super glue, my friends. The chipboard stickers stick pretty well, but I'm going to bring in super glue or hot glue. Hot glue would also work as well, but I have super glue just in case for instances like this. So adding super glue along the bottom, and then this way it'll really stay in place. It won't go anywhere. Okay. Stay. Another fussy cut yellow flower. So I'm kind of trying to line up the flowers on the front with the flowers on the back. You can take your time to be more, exact and intentional about that when you're lining your flowers up. Hard to do from this angle. You know what I mean? I haven't tried my globe stand yet to see if it works, so I just took it out now and definitely, yeah. I'm so sorry, my friends. We made it just a little bit tighter, and I think that was its demise, so we'll get new ones out. If yours doesn't fit, if it breaks, we'll send you a new one. Easy peasy. Okay. Now we want to add the travel words, the travel letters around the curve. So starting at the top-ish, there's T, R. Yeah, I just wanted to say something on the back side. And there's a few chipboard stickers left on the sheet if you're using those chipboard stickers that I thought would make sense too, but I don't know, I just really wanted to use the thickers somewhere else because the only page I've used them was that initial title cover photo. Travel, and that is a V right here. E. more finishing touches to really make, yeah, just to put the finishing touches on this whole album, the little details. So there is another gold heart. So we put a gold heart on the front. I want to put a gold heart on the back, if I can find my puffy stickers, that is. Where did they go? Where? Oh, there they are. Gold heart at the opposite top. So we had one on the front, so now we'll have one on the back. And then I had a floral cluster of transparency floral flowers on the front, or just one, sorry. There's one little flower. This one, I wanted more, because more is more. So I had a little trio of floral transparency stickers. Then the very last thing I did was added puffy stickers to the base. So still with these puffy stickers, I just wanted to add a little something something onto the base of the stand. And so I came in with these semicircle puffy stickers and added them along the bottom edge. On all, well, there's 8 sides, right? But on 4 of the sides. So this one, put semicircles along the bottom, and then on the opposite side, there's a lot of mandalas left, and so for every opposite side, I added a doily or mandala, and then a little sentiment sticker that I thought went along with the project. So those are from the sticker book. If I can find that page. There it is. So from the sticker book, there's this page that has a lot of different sentiments on there. So tuck it underneath the mandala doily sticker. This one just says hello there. And then rotate. So this time I changed up the colors. So this time I'm starting with a pink one, because there aren't enough to do the exact same pattern on the bottom. Sorry, there's not enough to do the exact same pattern on every piece. So I just changed up the colorway, and that's just another way to get lots of colors. Oh, genius, Kelly. All right, you might want to try that, friends. Kelly suggested if your stand is too tight, carefully remove it and sand the inside notch with a silhouette file, and then it'll fit better. So if you don't want to risk it breaking, that is a great idea, to sand it down inside before trying to piece them together. It's still just a big my bad, you know. I feel awful, and I'm so sorry. I'm gonna go cry after this. But we live and learn, and there's ways to make it right, so it'll be good. It'll be all good. Okay, and now this one, rotating it, so this one starts with yellow. And blue, pink, and purple. You're almost done. This is the very last step. Just adding those finishing details. Another little doily that says, or a pink doily, and a little sentiment that says sweet. This whole trip was sweet, so works for me. And then the last little section, last piece of the stand. Let me open up so I can get to it. We'll start with pink. And then yellow. Purple. And orange. Okay. And then the last is another little doily, followed by remember, which is a really great sentiment to end on, because I love remembering all of our memories and travels and adventures. That's it. Ta-da! Let's see. Yeah, I know. It's 3D is kind of hard to see it all in its full glory, but my friends, when you finish and you can flip through your finished album and just revel in your beautiful work. I'm going to flip the camera over to me. Hopefully it'll automatically change direction. My family just got home. They're so punctual. Yep. Okay. Here we go. Here is our finished album. Again, I just super apologize if your stand breaks. If it does, or okay, two things. Try sanding it first, like Kelly suggested, just sand it down a little bit. If it does break, send me and or Jessica an email and we will fix it. We'll send you a new one because that wasn't supposed to happen. They weren't as tight in the beginning and we made them tighter and we just didn't test it after that. So it happens, but we'll fix it. And I am just super excited to see what you make and how you interpret this and make it your own. Use the supplies from your stash, and hopefully, you will want to make more and more in the future. And it just makes such a cute little display mini album on your in your scrap room on your shelf. And I just want to say thank you so much for joining me and being here. And I hope you will be joining me for my next class that starts again in an hour. We will be creating these two layouts. Super excited about them. Hard to see on camera. And then I'm teaching two more classes tomorrow. Just a full fun weekend of virtual classes. So, all right. Thank you so much for joining me, and let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you again soon. Have a happy scrappy day, everybody. I'll walk around my table and press the end button. All right, bye friends.